Look who's back now, it's me smiling face. I was trying to finish a one-shot to post it before posting this part, but well woman standing light skin tone. Look like the one-shot will take her time to come around I think skull. And it's another 1H but this time with audio. Anyway, to the part 3 man dancing light skin tone. There's some sensitive topic cold sweat smile.
It was 4 a.m. Almost everyone was sleeping in their room. Or lying asleep on the sofas in the living room. It was colder than usual. But it is good that they have something to warm them up during this weather. Tokyo was always cold at night. But this was nothing compared to the coldness that would attack them during a time that no one expected to happen. And the freezing cold that I mean is really a cold of the heart and the body. This war that freezes them. Everyone was supposed to be asleep by then, but someone seemed to be sneaking around in the dark, trying to get out of the maze of rooms to the exit door. He tries to sneak so that no one will ever feel him and he will never have a reason to explain what he is trying to do. What are you doing here? Yelp. It seems that someone had woke up, and his plan has successfully failed. Oh Osamu, what are you doing here? He tried not to let out a tone of fear and stuttering, and he was trying to be a little ambiguous. It's exactly 4 a.m. What are you doing here and where do you think you're going, Rintaro? Osamu has a look of suspicion and crossing his hands. I'm going to get some fresh air because I can't sleep. He gave him a serious look, and put his hand in his pockets to pull out the key to the exit. Because the team locks the main door so that no one suddenly enters them, and opened the lock and pulled the door and was ready to go out. But before he could go out the door, Osamu put his hand on Suna's to stop him from going. This made Suna look at him in surprise, because he can't remember the last time he was prevented from going out for any reason. It seems that Osamu paid attention to this expression and knew that Suna would not understand his action and look, because he was so oblivious, so he told him why he was preventing him from going out. Hey, do you want me to come with you? Suna stared at Osamu for a while, then placed his hand on the hand that held him, and smiled softly. Maybe next time. Now I need to be alone. Is there something wrong? No, I just feel like I should go out for some air. Osamu put his hands on his torso and sighed, closing his eyes and moving his head down, then he opened his eyes to look at Suna softly. Suna just watches him, feeling like shit for what he's doing for this soft heart in front of him. He turned his face and left the hand of the other and put his hand in his pocket, heading towards the door. He stood past the doorstep and turned his head to where Osamu was still standing and gave him a smile. I'll call you later, Miyu. Alright, take care outside. He returns the smile with a soft expression. Of course. Suna started walking towards the unknown, not knowing when to stop, not knowing how long it would take while he was wandering on the cold streets of the city, but he did not count in the first place. He just wanders and wanders until his legs stop or he notices the sunrise. He didn't have anything to do but get out of the headquarters because he couldn't sleep. And now the outside looks better to him than the inside. His feet took him to where he last saw Atsumu. That huge building, and he began to look at the whole world from under it and look at the other buildings that surround it. Perhaps he would see something unfamiliar, but he didn't find anything, except for the calmness and the appearance of some cars that are sure to be seen at this hour in the morning. After all, it is the hour when people go to work in Tokyo. I see you lost. A strange voice came to Suna, which made him afraid, thinking that someone from the team had followed him, or worst, maybe some other member from a strange team. He turned his head back to meet a person whose presence was familiar to him, but he was not sure the matter. The person wore a dark blue hood with a mask at the face and a hood covering his head with his body, as if he were a cloak. And he has something on his back that is also covered by the cloak and looks like a bag, and a big dark blue scarf around his neck. Suna was really freaked out by him, he wouldn't lie, but something about this man or boy or whatever was this stranger, made him doubt him a bit. And you? Suna stepped back a little, putting his right foot forward and his left foot back, his left hand ready to pull out the dagger that was tied to his foot. I see that you didn't take off your headquarters uniform and only put a jacket over it. Also, you don't carry a mask. You know that this is dangerous to do, right? He crossed his arms. And who am I for you to tell me what to do? He drew his dagger and pointed it at the stranger in front of him. Calm down, I won't hurt you, Rin. And put his hand in front of him as protection from attack or denying. Rin, Atsumu. Yes, that's me. He removed his mask and smiled at him. Suna is surprised, thinking that he will never see him again until all these silly things are over, and quickly runs towards Atsumu and hugs him. You idiot, I know. They stayed like this for a while until Atsumu pushed him away from him, and Suna was surprised and looked at where Atsumu was looking for something in his bag to pull out two small wireless and put one of them in Suna's pocket and the other in his pocket. What are you doing? I just put my walkie-talkie on so we can communicate without the team knowing. I've hidden my location off the map and they can't even find me, he chuckled, and also take this. And he gives him a lot of papers. What is this? And he began to read it one after the other to find that you had a letter bearing the name of each of the members of their team. He gave Atsumu his side eyes, and to find the other had thrown his butt on the ground and placed his hands on his knees and began to sigh heavily. I don't know what I must be feeling, but please don't tell anyone about all this. Wait until I get ready. Then he looked at him with a serious look and carefully glared at him to get his point right. Well, don't worry, I'll swallow this secret no one will ever know, I promise, and he rolls up the papers to put them where no one can see him when he gets back to headquarters. But, Atsumu smiled and stood on his feet again and put on his mask. I'm sorry, I'll see you later, and was ready to run, but Suna stopped him. Hey, don't go now. What is there? After hearing Atsumu's voice with the mask on, Suna made sure that Atsumu used a voice changer in his mask as usual, never wanting to reveal his voice to anyone to not get himself in trouble. Why don't you take me with you? I don't want to face a whole team that has lost their head and mind after the news of your loss or the death of one of them. What if they doubt me and call me a traitor? They think I'm working for the evil side. You can say that Suna is angry, but Atsumu won't take anything from his anger. They will not do this. You're just saying that to make me feel better. You sure you'll survive without me? He looked at him deep, taking Suna's face expression and the way he turned away from him to look at the ground and clenching his teeth, as a no. I'm not sure but I guess you. He put his hands on Suna's. Just look out for yourself, the others can survive without me, but you. I need you to really take care, because I won't be here to do that. And Atsumu escaped from Suna's grasp, leaving him on an unknown rooftop in the streets of Tokyo. How foolish you are. You don't know what will await you in the future because of your ridiculous planning. Putting his hand in his pocket and before, he raised his black cotton mask, covered his mouth, and set off back to the headquarters like a ninja at the beginning of the sunrise, symbolizing the start of a day unlike any other. If you had thought before you act, your plan would have succeeded. Little does Suna know, however, that Atsumu really knows he's going to regret his idea. The last shot we see of Atsumu holding his large scarf wrapped around his neck and looking at the Tokyo skyline and towards the direction in which he remembered where his team headquarters are located. Please forgive me for everything I've done. Then he left the building, covered his head and face, and embarked on his suicide mission. In the morning when it was time for everyone to wake up, they found something that made them lose their minds. Almost everyone is in the kitchen because they have the same reason they are hungry. But their chef was not there, he was sleeping, and no one begged to wake him after they saw in the morning from letters. You can hear mumblings in the kitchen, as if they made it their place to say tea, but that's not our conversation. Everyone awake. Kita is one of their leaders. Stepped in the rooms. Their Osamu is still asleep. Komori said, sitting at the table with a piece of paper in his hand, looking wrinkled from his anger. And there is Sakusa, who put his hand on his cousin's shoulder, trying to calm him down before calming himself down. He too is angry. Kita sighed, holding the paper. You can tell how angry he is at his grip on the paper. He seems to want to wrinkle it but he stops himself from trying. It's okay, I'll prepare the food, who helps? Me, Sugawara and Akashi volunteered. All right, the rest stay in your rooms. After breakfast we have to talk about these letters. Hi. Some of them responded and others already went to their rooms. Osamu opened his eyes, greeting the new day with the sun slapping his face. He groaned and lifted up from his sleeping position. His hair was messed up and his eyes were a little bit swollen, probably because of him staying up late more than usual, and sleeping just for 4 hours. He was waiting for Suna to come back from wherever he was. That's really annoying. He fiddles with his hair and yawns, deciding to stand on his feet, to start the day. He feels so tired since he opened his eyes. Hey Sumu. He yawns again. Wake up, it's morning already. He went up to the bunk to climb to his brother's bed, to find no one in his bed. He did not find his brother there. This idiot, why didn't he wake me up as usual? We wake each other up every time the other wakes up. He whispered between his breath angrily and turned around to see that the others weren't here either. They left me too. He was not impressed. He goes down the stairs and he exits the room, still yawning. Why am I so tired like this? His eyes were half closed and more bored than usual. He looked around him in the corridors of the rooms, marveling at the shapes he saw, and this made him fully awake after he had been tired and half asleep. For example, how often will you see Oikawa unstyle his hair? Not once. This boy cares about his hair like he's his son or something. Iwaizumi was trying to calm him down about something Osamu didn't know about yet. What is this idiot doing now? He was looking at him in a funny way, and as he completed his way, he found more of his companions behaving strangely than the other. Ida, open this door now. What's wrong with you? Shirabu bangs on the door of the room trying to get the boy out, and Ushijima and Tendo with him, because obviously this is also a room for the other three. Osamu approached them, because Ushijima is also considered their leader. Almost every captain of his team before is also the leader of the team as a whole because they bear leadership. Well, this Oikawa boy who is acting strange is no longer, in Osamu's eyes, of course. Hey Ushijima-san. When those words came out of his mouth the three of them froze for a few seconds and Osamu noticed it. Hi, Osamu. Do you want something? Ushijima gathered himself again, facing Osamu. Osamu nodded his head in denial. No, I don't want anything, just what's going on here. Is semi-okay. It's just like his other days, he's just acting more emotional than usual, Shirabu said, never letting go from the door and trying to open it, turning the knob to get it to open, but of course, he didn't succeed. Finally Semi opened the door while putting a towel on his head to rub it with. It looked like he came out of the bathroom in a shower. Why can't someone here take a long shower? Knew it. Oh, we thought you. Shirabu didn't find a way to really describe what to say. You're an idiot. He turned his back and headed for the many sofas in the living room, his head on the floor. Oh Semisemi, looks like you pissed Shirabu off a bit. Tendo said, crossing his arms behind his head. I do not think so. Osamu said with his head still towards Shirabu. Sakusa is acting almost like this and he's just hiding his interest, and at the same time he feels annoyed by your behavior that made him worry, but he'll deny that he's upset, but he's just worried. The three are silent, especially Semi who looks more chubby. He threw the towel aside and walked behind Shirabu, saying something between his breaths that no one could catch. Anyway, looked at the two of them with a look of disbelief. It seems like this usually happens between them without others knowing. Do you know where the rest of my team is? You can find them in the meeting room or sitting or in the training center, because I don't remember where they went. It's okay. I'll look for them. Thank you, Ushijima and Tendo-san. You're welcome. Osamu headed to the training center to meet only 4 of the Leaf team. Oikawa's team. How did you manage to get here so quickly? Osamu said he was surprised to see Oikawa there training as if he was here an hour ago, when he saw him 10 minutes ago. Oh, hello, Osamu. Kiyotani welcomed him. By his side, Yahaba, who seemed ready to beat someone up for some reason, or was just a little nervous for some reason. Hey, Kentaro. He sat down next to them. How long have you been here? Because I remember seeing Oikawa a while ago, in the hallways. Well, we've been here for the most part 20 minutes or more. These two have been fighting ever since. I don't know why. He huffs and crosses his arms angrily. Osamu did not ask why Yahaba was angry, perhaps because he lost against Kiyotani, or some other reason he was angry with him. He looked at the two in front of him, to see that Oikawa had won the confrontation. Oikawa put his foot on Iwa's arm to stop him from moving and held his arm with his other hand. Osamu turned towards them, smiling goofily. You should go easy on him, Why are you mad? The two looked at each other and then got up from the ground. Oikawa did not speak to him. Rather, he passed by him without changing his facial expressions, leaving him wondering. Iwaizumi just shook his head with a little annoyed at the cold shoulder Oikawa had given to Osamu just now. I'm sorry about him. He's just not in a good mood today. I can see this. Anyway, what are you doing here? Have you seen a section of my team? No, I wasn't focusing on anyone, I was trying to keep Oikawa from causing any trouble. He had a hard night yesterday, and he doesn't seem to be in a good mood. No problem. I'll see them at breakfast anyway. That being said, I'll have to go and prepare breakfast. No need, someone is preparing it right now, and maybe they're done. And at that moment, the loudspeakers worked, and the computer started calling them all to breakfast. Looks like it's about time, Iwaizumi said and headed toward the exit of the training ground, signaling the others to follow him. When Osamu entered the kitchen to see everyone with different faces and no one touched his plate. The silence was fatal. You can hear the sound of the needle falling to the ground or you can cut off the air. He felt uncomfortable with the energy he gets from his teammates, feeling uncomfortable as if they wanted to beat up someone. Again, 𝐻𝐻. Good morning, he says in confusion. The eyes suddenly turned to his head, as if he was the murderer. Whoever he was, the one who killed whoever was the person in their minds of course. His body shuddered at the sight before him, and froze foolishly in front of wild beasts, if it was right to describe them like that. Kita smiled at him after giving him more aggressive and combative impulses, because of the shape of his eyes and his coldness. The foxes always describe him like that, than the others. If 𝐿𝙤𝙤 can kill, Osamu would have been dead at the sight right now. Hello Osamu, come and eat. We'll have an important meeting after that. He sounds too cheerful for Osamu's liking. It sends chills to his spines, making him not only freezing in his place but also shivering. All right Captain. He said it with the captain's greetings and went to any chair that one of them had left reserved for him, but he did not find his place usually reserved, and this was strange, but he found a spot near KineMaster, so he sat there. Everyone started eating, but Osamu remembered that he had not yet found someone to look for, so he started looking to find Suna and Sakusa also sitting in a different place than usual. Thinking about it, everyone is sitting in different places than they were sitting in before. Leaving Osamu thinking if the meeting was due to internal differences for the team, which made them act so cold and strange today. He starts eating, trying to erase the tension he felt after the vision he saw from the looks of his companions in the room. And he also tried not to look at one of the eyes, because he felt them on his head, trying to open a gap in his head, he thought. But he felt something was missing there in particular. But he did not dare to remove his head from his plate and complete it, in order to start the meeting to end this pressure he felt. He really wishes he understood what was going on. What kind of damage to the team? What just happened in those 6 hours to make everyone different? He's afraid of the answers he'll get. Scared. And yet he tries not to panic. Who doesn't try to panic at that point? Did you see their looks at him? Tension as if someone had been killed. Been killed. Kill. Now everyone. Daichi clapped his hands, trying to get attention. Since everyone finished their food, now head to the meeting room. He looked at each and every one of them, and his gaze lingered on Osamu a little longer than the rest. Osamu thought he was in big trouble, for something he didn't do. He gulped. If Osamu can describe what he feels in this room, he will not end up describing how the room stifles him for reasons he is trying to figure out, but the problem is that he did nothing in the first place to make him feel that he is the wanted person at the crime scene. He feels everyone's eyes staring at him and throwing murderous looks at him. As if he knows something. But the fool does not know about anything except that he was sleeping. Whoever puts the blame on him while he is sleeping, he doesn't know at all who dared to put something big on his shoulders. For something he hasn't done. Everyone entered the room and took a specific chair, and again, no one sat in their designated place. Everyone scatters. The leaders don't look happy. There are some features of sadness on their face and also perhaps loss. What did they lose? Did a fight happen while I was sleeping? No way. I would have woken up from the noise of the fighting. Now Osamu struggles with everything in his head. He doesn't understand anything and no one gives him a good vibes as to what's going to happen, everyone gives him negativity. And he's definitely not happy with how he feels, because it seems like everyone's in danger, or that one of the team members made a stupid move that led to a lot of problems and put himself in danger. He doesn't know anything. He's just nervous for a reason he doesn't know, and everyone looks at him as if he knows everything about what happened. Oh my God, I slept 6 hours to wake up to what I think are things I did. Note to myself, don't wake up later than everyone else so they don't blame you for every misfortune that happens. Osamu pulled himself out of the gate of conflict quickly, so that they wouldn't suspect him more, but he woke up, apparently, for silence. He thought he was waiting for him to answer the question they asked, but he discovered that no one spoke. Nobody dares to even breathe. Why is no one speaking? He thought to himself, everyone is in the room now, so why? Why is everyone so quiet, to the point of scaring him? He didn't even like silence in his life, because it scared him. And now his fear is in front of him. There is always a difference between frightening silence and quiet silence. Quiet silence is when he is in a safe place and his companions are still around him, but they are just quiet doing what they want but no one speaks. Here he feels safe in this silence. But a frightening silence is happening to him now, when his comrades are all there but they are silent in a scary way. Their silence is as quiet as if their voices have been taken away. He's terrifying. Finally one of the commanders said something after he collected himself from the thoughts that were in his head. Well everyone, I think we all know why we are here. Ushijima said, crossing his arms. At the same time, Daichi slammed a paper on the table. What's wrong with them? He tried to take a look at the paper that was slammed in front of him on the table, but he couldn't understand anything because his captain put his hand on it. Not an intelligible word, the only thing he could read was, Sawamura Daichi. It seems that someone has received something out of the ordinary, so I'm not in trouble. He sighed with relief, beginning to feel relief after the pressure, but he will not rest for much, as the problem that began has not ended yet. And we want to know who was able to enter these suspicious messages. He tried to explain, but Osamu's head still didn't understand what was going on here, what these messages were, and why he didn't even receive one. Is everyone acting weird? Did you all get the message? But Hinata tries to get a good idea. Can't Kenma see the previous watched records? We tried this, Hinata. Daichi lowered his head toward the table and crossed both arms to support his weight on the table. After a while he raised his head slightly and gave a fatal stare to everyone in the room. Who of you cleared the records? Well, whoever did this is really smart. Osamu looked around, trying to see if there was a suspicious face. He saw Oikawa and Iwaizumi, surprised more than the rest, and started whispering to each other silently. Well, it seems we have to put them on the suspicious list. Records have been cleared. Kita hit the table. Everyone helped him. Kita never lost his cool, not at any difficult time. He's very calm, it's one of his main qualities even. Calm down, Shin. Eren tried to calm his partner down. But the word, calm down, didn't seem to work for him. It seemed to piss him off even more, and made his tongue say things he shouldn't have. Calm down. Calm down. Records have been wiped and we have no evidence of his disappearance. Kita seemed to catch himself before he uttered the wrong thing, ending the meeting the wrong way. Disappear. Osamu finally broke the ice, confused about the matter the leaders are talking about. He stared at everyone angrily. What happened? Why do the leaders speak in riddles and not directly as usual? I'm sure you're hiding something from me, because I don't understand what you're saying. Now spit out what's on your tongue and speak. Everyone fell silent and no one looked at Osamu in the eye. Everyone is afraid to look at the flying sparks that come out of his eyes. Okay, I'll say. Shirabu stood up from his chair and put his hand in his pocket. Everyone looked at Shirabu with fear, not for any particular reason, it was just the way Osamu would react that frightened them. Shirabu sighed and stood next to Daichi and Ushijima. He took his hand out of his pocket, also holding a piece of paper. This paper was received by everyone when they woke up. We woke up in our rooms or in the living room to letters on our chests, and it was strange for the intruder to do that. He put the paper back in his pocket and gave Osamu a look. A look. Osamu was afraid to know what after it. The one who wrote these letters is Atsumu Miya, As everyone here knows, Suna stood up and turned to Osamu and gave him his own paper, and as it appears to be a suicide note. Osamu let out a gasp when he heard what Shirabu said, a suicide note. He is too shocked to even react to the news. Suna is still behind with his hands around him to calm down, but Osamu looks lost, angry, sad, simply all kinds of negative emotions. How did this even happen? Osamu slapped the paper on the table. He was fine yesterday. Osamu, I'm afraid that since yesterday no one has seen Atsumu. Ushijima said, with some hints of sadness on his face at seeing one of the brothers lose the other. Osamu on the other hand just looks at the paper in front of him, not realizing what to do. He just reads the message in his head over and over again without stopping. I couldn't protect him. I couldn't be by his side. I lost him again, and maybe he won't come back this time, all because of me, because of me, because of me. Osamu's thoughts were cut by two arms around him. Osamu returned to reality to see Suna hugs him to get him out of this cycle of thought. Everyone just watches. They can't do anything for Osamu right now, just hope that everything will be fine soon. Don't worry, Samu, I'll be with you. These words aren't sincerely out of Suna's heart, but maybe because of the shock. His best friend has gone too, but he is doubtful, but no one can throw the fingers now. The time is not right for all the accusations. First of all they need to calm their nerves, then see who the traitor who killed their friend and left these stupid messages. All fingers of the accusations headed at Suna at that moment, in silence. In this room. I hope you are hearing this, stupid. This is what Suna was saying to himself, and he was trying to calm Osamu from the wave of crying that hit him because he was unable to do anything for his brother. Kita, can I talk to you for a second? Of course, Daichi. Well, I think we should. Shirabu, Akashi and Kenma looked at each other after hearing what their leaders had said about what they would do. They are really amazed at what will happen. Even Akashi and Kenma were amazed. Then looked at Oikawa, who was putting his hands in his sweater's pocket, with signs of discomfort on his face, and then looked at Osamu's condition, and then at the paper in front of him, then talks to Iwaizumi about something. Something seems quite secretive. Is it possible that you too, Toru? What's inside Semi's head? Even I don't know, but I know one thing. It's so bad. What's bad? His mind. At the same time, on the roof of a tall building in Tokyo, a young man with a wireless hears something he hates to hear a lot, but it seems he is the reason for hearing this sad voice. And he hates it so much. But he doesn't have any choice to do other than stay away from them for sometimes. Atsumu should stay away as much as possible from the team. Otherwise, one of the team may be hurt. He doesn't want this. He doesn't want someone to get hurt because of him. So he will be as far as possible, even from Suna. He doesn't want him to be harmed either, because who will take care of Osamu in his absence? I'm sorry, Osamu, forgive me. And he jumped over the building to the other building and the other. Like ninja, they say. Heading towards the unknown. Maybe, just maybe, he can find something and finally can let go of the threats that gets him all the times, and return home. Return to his partner. Return to his best friend, and on top of that, return to his brother.
OMG, it took forever, frowning face. And to be honest, I am so satisfied with the result, right, cat face. Y'all have been waiting so much for this and now I serve you right. I've couple one shot in my mind too, still working on them. I'll just say that. Semi-hurt comfort and so many hints of Oizumi friendship and some scene of Shira pinching hand, light skin tone. And the other is Sakuatsu, also hurt comfort, pensive face. Have a good day everyone, hugging face heart. I love you all so much.